Good afternoon. My name is Raquel Russell, and I'll be talking about describing the legal and ethical considerations related to identify ASD. The way I feel like I will be identify students with ASD and the legal considerations are first by getting consent. That's the biggest thing before doing anything with a student that you think or have that a student that we think is with ASD or we're not sure of, is to always get consent from the family or guardian of the student. I will remain confidential too about anything about the information about this student. This is something that stays between me, the families, and the working team that's working to develop a working plan for the student. This is something that shouldn't be getting out of the group. Another one would be to never discriminate. When it comes to students, you shouldn't discriminate nothing about their disabilities of the student. That's the worst thing that you could do. Then is the respect for the individual. Just because you have a student with ASD doesn't mean they're less of a person. They still remain the same respect from any other person, any other human, even if it's a student with ASD and a student without it. They all have their own rights too to make the decision they want, and they when it comes to diagnosis, treatments, or anything. And then after, I want to talk about describing what I have learned about the characteristics of the students with ASD. What I learned is that not all students have the same characteristics. A lot of educators or just people I mainly know believe that all students are the same. They're going to show the same triggers. They're going to show the same characteristics, and that's not true at all. The best thing is to get to know the students, to see the triggers or the characteristics that's different from one student to the next. As we know, it's all humans are not the same, so are these students are not the same as well, and none of their symptoms or characteristics will be the same as the next student. Also, I learned that you have to learn their students, the best way to learn and understand their needs. And when you understand their needs, you're able to help them, give them the support to flourish in life. You have to advocate for them when they are unable to do so on their own. That's what all the support is on. We're their biggest support system. And the fact that we're not able to give that to them, that's what makes it harder for them, because they have nobody to stand up for them. Explain how I will apply my knowledge and theory in the EP to advocate for supporting students with autism spectrum disability. So students with ASD benefit from the implication of EBP because it helps them to improve students with autism outcome in learning and growing. EBP is known to be very effective when it comes to teaching, approaching behavior and skills. So a lot of times we know students with autism does have behavior issues. So when we're using the EBP, it helps to teach good behavior, to improve their behavior. And it also is known to improve academically standing for students with ASD as well. And the law doesn't say much about it, but federal laws such as IDEA does mention it's being used in education. So we know this is something that is kind of mandated in it because it's useful and it's beneficial. It's something that we do as studies every day in our classrooms, and we're able to see that it's working. Now, the last question is describing how you understand the legal and ethical responsibility when meeting students' needs and advocating for students have changed or became clearer throughout the course. The legal and the ethical responsibility is very important for educators to follow when having students with ASD and having to advocate for the students and their families. Standing up for their rights and what is needed for them to have a good life and to grow in life. When we are able to listen to their needs and wants, that's how we could get better to get an understanding. Just think of this. When you're able to get a full understanding of the parents' needs and wants and the students' needs and wants, it's a better outcome all the time, no matter what. So when you go in and have students like that with autism, just know to make sure that you are listening. That's the first thing as an educator, to always listen. It's the best thing. It will help you out all times. Throughout the course, this advocating for students became a much clearer understanding of what's important for educators to do. It became very important. As I already knew as an educator that advocating is the biggest thing, but it became way more clearer when you have students with ASD, and how we have to push and became powerful and more for these parents and families to advocate for them. Not a lot of people are able to do this, so as an educator, that's something I would do, and I will continue doing and building my knowledge on it, and to get them all the support and help that they need in their life to become better people, to flourish in life, education. Like, I just don't want these kids to be known as, oh, this is a student with ASD. No, this is a student with ASD, but they're also flourishing and growing. Or for me, providing the support, advocating for them and the families.